My name is Sameer Pedambar. Today is my introductory speech. I was born in Pedambe in Maharashtra. I spent my father is an engineer. My mother is a homemaker. My sister is studying in 12th grade right now. I was born in Pedambe, Maharashtra. Spent the first 6 years of my life in my village. Then I spent the next 3 years of my life in Assam. I learned a lot about Bengali culture and I learned to appreciate their culture and I like food, fish because of that. Then I came back to Bombay and in Mumbai I continued my further study. I never excelled in studies, but I was good in sports. In 10th grade, I got 94%. Then, I think I made a mistake after that because I could have chosen. I made a mistake in the choice of college that I chose. Just because it was close to my house, I chose Bhavan's College, whereas I could have chosen other colleges. So that thing was a mistake. After that, in 12th grade, I got Inspire scholarship. And after that, through a lucky break, in the top 1%. After that, through a lucky break, for various reasons, I could not crack the engineering exams. After that, I came to Ahmedabad. And here, life has been pretty good. Only thing I think, my freedom has been restricted to a certain extent, I feel. Especially getting up early for PET and all. That really hurts me. About my dream, what is my dream, what I want to become in life. I want to become a real estate. I want to do business in real estate. What I want is to own luxurious properties all around the world, some beautiful places, maybe a few restaurants that I can offer. So that I can offer a nice culinary experience to people living in the community. I like food, I like pizza, I like fish. So apart from that, I want to have a collection of gemstones like emeralds, rubies, sapphires, diamonds. Out of that collection. Money is not very important for me, but I think
luxury is important.
money is important for the people to make sure that people were around me, so that my family is happy. So to make sure that they are satisfied beyond understanding, or keeping people around you happy is good to have money. Apart from that, in friends, look for a combination of what you can say, intelligence, beauty, and character. Character is most important. Beauty and intelligence, I can compromise. I value loyalty and honesty. And other things. My favorite movie is McKenna's Bone. It's a very old movie. But for stress busters, I like to go on a long drive on Queen's Necklace. Apart from that, that's all. Thank you very much.
We want to provide convenience to people in the most luxurious of the locations around the world, and money is not a factor. I can extrapolate the rest. So moving on, Ekta is the next consider.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start off with a quote. To forgive is not to condone the offense, to say it made no difference, or to license its repetition. Rather, forgiveness is a decision to no longer hold an offense against another person or a group. It's a choice, much like love, and we should choose wisely. So forgiving is not something that comes very naturally to me. I have struggled with it ever so often. One of the joys of having few people close to you is that you're not hurt that often. But the drawback is that the few people who are close to you, they have an amazing power to hurt you. Yes, forgiveness is not exactly my forte. But there have been numerous instances where I have realized that there is no sense in holding a grudge against someone. I had a friend in school. We were best friends ever since we were in nursery. And it probably sounds pretty cliche, but people mistook us for sisters very often because we were together all the time. And we had a lot of fun until the day we had a disagreement. And me, being the dramatically stubborn person that I am, I just refused to talk to her. The next day, I didn't sit next to her. I didn't have lunch with her. I even refused to make eye contact with her across the classroom, excuse me. At that point of time, I had the belief that if I were to forgive her, then I would be going back on my own personal rules, which have really helped me define my character and personality. I used to live by the quote from the book Pride and Prejudice, that is, my good opinion once lost is lost forever. And even though the character who uttered those lines later on did say that that is not a good rule to live your life by, but I, for some reason, chose to ignore that. Another thing that brings me to the forgiveness struggle is that if I have to forgive someone, I need to understand the entire situation in order to let go of it. So the question that always causes me the most anguish is the question why? Why would she say such a thing? Why would he do such a thing? Why would he even think of such a thing? But the important thing to realize is that it's not that we understand the action, rather it is only us who are responsible to how we process it and how we react to it. Why do we need to forgive or be forgiven? Basically, it's so that we have a free mind. That is, when someone hurts us or someone angers us, then we realize that there's a lot of emotions that we're going through. We feel hurt, we feel angry, there's some amount of anger or hatred even, which sort of festers within you and it just continues to grow. But you have to realize that in order for you to let go of those emotions, you have to be able to forgive the person, because only then will you improve your own spiritual, psychological, or whatever, physical well-being. So it's not an easy task, but it is definitely something which is worth it. Sometimes certain situations can allow you to appreciate a person more. You can see them in a different light. For example, today I don't even remember what we fought over, but I still remember the fun we used to have when we used to bunk classes, or we used to, have night outs and whatnot. So my anger actually turned into grievance when I realized all the things I lost out on. So the important thing to realize is that emotions are, they have a lifespan. Whatever you're feeling right now, it will most definitely pass. Despite so many benefits of forgiveness, it is not something that most of us choose. It was not an option. I chose to remain angry. I chose to have that resentment fester within me, and to this day I haven't spoken to her. But in order for us to lead a much more happier and healthier life, we have to be able to move on. And in order to move on, you have to find closure. Supposing you want to find closure and you approach the person who hurt you or made you angry, and you realize that that person has actually changed, they feel remorse, they've apologized. And then you realize that all of the feelings that you felt, they were completely futile, because it is only you who remember, it is only you who suffers, no one else does. And this can actually make you think that there might be so many people you might have inadvertently hurt or made feel bad or whatever. And even if you approach the person and they haven't changed, they have no remorse, they are still the annoying person that they always were. Even then you have to realize is that their choice to be deliberately evil is something which has affected you and your soul, and that is not something you need to waste your time over. Everyone is much more better than that. And then you realize that although the court initially stated that it's a choice, it is in fact a necessary choice. And I haven't yet reached that stage. I hope most of you would practice as I preached and not do as I did.
So forgiving is an art. It's a difficult art, but nevertheless it's an art. So, Vasundhara, I believe, is not here. Oh, here you are. Sorry.
I'm going after you.
The last one? Okay. Ritika.
Good evening, everyone. Is it audible? Today I'm giving my second level speech here at Toastmasters, and the topic I've chosen is an emotion. And I don't think anyone present here would not have experienced that emotion at any point, some or the other point of time in their lives. Maybe some of you have experienced with a sibling claiming that your parents pay more attention to him or her than you, or maybe because of a higher classmate, or maybe because of maybe at a workplace when you think that the less deserving people are acknowledged more, or a wife may have experienced it when her husband praises the other woman, or maybe because of the neighbor having a better car. I hope everyone here have watched the advertisement I'm talking about. The emotion I'm talking is jealousy. To start with, I would like to define jealousy. Jealousy is an emotion showing envy towards someone else's possessions, advantages, or achievements. It is a human tendency to be to get more. They are not satisfied. As economics teaches us, human wants are unlimited. They always want to get more. I have two examples, very practical and daily life. The first one being women gossiping. Why do you think they actually gossip? Are their emotions that real? Their issues so serious that they need to discuss it with other women? I think it's a very good outlet to vent out their feelings, to vent out their emotions, basically of jealousy from maybe professional life to personal life. The second example being relative grading. 1 grade point difference and you are just so jealous of the other person who is getting better than you. You just want to pull others back and get ahead of them. These are just two examples, but I think the basic foundation of our wants lies in the fact that we are jealous of others. We want more than others. We want to be ahead of them. Jealousy is a negative thought over anticipated feeling, anticipated thoughts that something might happen. When you are jealous of your competitor, you think that he or she might get ahead of you. You think that your relationship might end when your partner jails around with someone else. But is it actually happening? Well, it might be the case. I didn't say that it cannot happen, but it hasn't, right? So why to be jealous over the things that has not even happened yet? It's just prediction, and I think in that case jealousy should be avoided. Excuse me. We all know that jealousy is a negative thought. Then why do people still show this feeling? Why do they have this emotion? Well, cultural psychologists say that it's a human tendency to be jealous, to have something more than others, to be ahead of others. And it's true that people who are dependent on others, who are insecure, are prone to be more jealous than others. Now, after laying this basic definition and giving it few examples, I would like to tell how does one show jealousy? How does one takes out this emotion on others? It depends from person to person. Some may be indifferent. They don't show these feelings out very clearly. They may be subtle about it. Some may be anxious, they have resentment, restlessness. Some may be flagrant to others. It depends on the person. A fine example of jealousy shown is Indian daily soaps. You watch any kahani, it is just incomplete without the vamp that has no work in life but to be jealous of the lead character. She or he has to create a havoc in the lead's character life. Also, the mythological characters we have Mantra from Ramayana, Shakuni Mama or Kauravas from Mahabharata. All, sorry, ekta your face. All are filled with, presenting this emotion very well. Also, Shakespeare in his play Julius Caesar very well presented this emotion. Cassius is known to have jealousy with Julius Caesar. So he, with other conspirators, stabs him, kills him because he is threatened by his powers. And till now, I just talked about the negative impacts or aspects of the jealousy, of this emotion. Think once, is this emotion actually that bad? I mean, if you're not jealous of others, you're not jealous of your competitor, would you actually bother to get ahead of him or her? Would you make efforts to achieve more than others? So, in my opinion, a little bit of jealousy is beneficial because it helps and motivates you to perform better. The last part of my speech talks about how does one deal with this emotion? How does one tackle this emotion basically? Again, as it is subjective, it depends from person to person how he has or she has to deal with it. You need to think what is the reason that is making you jealous, because as I told, jealousy is basically feeling over anticipated losses. It's not actually it is happening with you. So think about the main reason, the cause, because cause causes belief and then belief results in this emotion. So if the root cause is taken care of at the first place, this situation would not arise. Secondly, what you can do is share things with the person you are comfortable with. Maybe not with the person you are jealous with because maybe you are not comfortable, but with the person with whom you are comfortable, you can share your heart out. You should do that because sometimes it helps. Not always, but it can be done. And I think jealousy is just a waste of time. You are spending time thinking about others. I mean, do you have enough time to think about others? Just think how you want to get ahead. Just think how you would, get over this emotion. So instead of whining about the things that you don't have this, the other person has more. I think this should not be done, and you should focus on things that actually makes you better. So don't waste time on jealousy. Sometimes you're ahead and sometimes you're not. Thank you.
So if any of you have the habit of watching some of the regional movies, for example Bengali movies, I'm saying this because I'm a Bengali, I don't know if there is anybody else who is also Bengali over here. So there is always this stereotype Choti Bahu in these movies who gets traumatized by the Badi Bahu. And in Bengali movies, as you know, fish is an important part of the Bengali culture. So the way of manifesting it is that the Badi Bahu comes, gives everybody a large piece of fish and the Choti Bahu a small size of fish. Then all hell breaks loose. You know what I mean. So Vasundhara, you're the last one.
5 minutes after you raise a hand. You have timer, right?
After 5 minutes, I should say
Raise a hand.
signal. Okay. 5 minutes.
Hello friends, when I thought to give prepared speech, I didn't have any topic. Then I asked my friends to give me topic, but you know, friends are such a stupid person. When you want, they interfere in your life, they will not do. When you don't want, they will interfere in whatever they want to do with your life. That's why I thought, why not to talk about friends only, and I chosen my topic as friends. Whenever we talk about friends, only one thing comes in mind: who is always with you. We cannot say I don't think there is anybody who don't have any friend at all. We have seen IPM 11 student. We are reading and friend diary. There also she have the friends, and she don't have best friend. That's why she started writing diary. But still she has searched some friend to tell her feeling and to think, tell her what she feel and what she's thinking about the world. That's how when we start our life, we have a very good friend with us for always, our parents. They inculcate all the moral value and all kind of caring, and they do with us. That's how today I can relate with topic of Ekta, and then Pratibha and Ritika, emotions and attitude. Friends are those who help in all these things. Like Pratibha said, we have to care about the friendship, otherwise you will get some wrong attitude and wrong habit. Some wrong attitude, not habit, sorry. That's how I'm saying friends are those who help in many things. But somehow friends, you have to listen them. Whatever they want to talk with you, you have to listen. Otherwise they feel bad. You have to listen their class, what happened in their life and what they want to do and all these things. But sometimes it helps when you have to talk to them, because there is nobody to talk. You can talk all the crafts what is happening in your life, and they will listen if they don't willing then also. And one thing, friends are most who hurt you